Positive decision making. It's when you use your time and your brain to entertain two possible outcomes and make the best choice. Welcome back to Talking with Jazz with your host BigDaddy0. Making choices is hard. I like to use a thing called positive decision making. I've probably talked about it in the past because I always recommend people do positive decision making. Don't make big rash decisions. That's my recommendation. Don't listen to me. That's my other one. But this one you can just sort of take on, okay? So here's an example of positive decision making. And it's related back to our series, which is about tree changing and how to tree change and how I tree changed, which may lead you to conclude how you don't tree change. Anyway, what we decided was that we would not sell our flat in the big smoke. Instead, we would rent. And it was all part of positive decision making. This meant that we had left our options open. And if it all went tits up, we could still move back and we'd all be okay. But it also gave us a chance to understand a little bit more about choices that you can make in the country. Because one of the big choices I've discovered is acreage versus town block or garden. I have found that people who have come directly from the city tend to favour acreage. They're quite romantic about, chickens, etc. Whatever, horses. Horses is a big one. So they get acreage. Now acreage, yes, it's a bit of a cruel bitch, I have to say. It's a lot of work, and it can be a really lot of work. When you've got 10 acres and you have to keep that clean, mowing it, stopping weed infestation, stopping rabbit infestation, stopping kangaroo infestation. It's just infestation city when you own acreage. It can be really hard. There's a warning. By renting, we got to exercise our positive decision making, where we could look at various options of how people were living and what their life was like when they were living in the country without making any hard decisions. We just looked around and we came to the conclusion that all that infestation stuff of large blocks of land was not for us. Yes, it's nice to have your own footy field, but it's going to be a lot of work. And your weekends may well be devoted to driving that little tractor around and around, Then there's the town block. Town blocks, people, they have little communities. They have neighbours that they can holler to, hello neighbour, It really is quite nice. You don't have to be downtown town. You can be just out of town or just beside town. The other advantage of that sort of way of doing things is that you can be near a train station. I can tell you, being near a train station in the country is a fabulous thing for children's independence. Because as they get a little bit older, they like to go on the train, and it's great. If they can walk to the train station, then they're just, hop, skip, and they jump from the city, the big smoke, so they can get their fix or whatever. I didn't mean fix. I mean, they can buy a bung me, whatever. Stuff kids like. Look at computer games, things that they like to do. Then there's the garden. So that's a kind of a big block in the country, but not so big that it's got paddocks. That's my definition of it. It allows you to have the chickens. It allows you to, you can have a goat on those sort of garden blocks. But a lot of work. There's a lot of work involved in anything above about an acre. Let me tell you, if you've got any sort of garden, bed, weed, tree situation going on, you still have to devote a certain amount of regular maintenance to your garden. You can't just let it go wild. It's just not the done thing. And it's also nice to have a nice garden where you can actually sit and not be kind of surrounded by trees that are coming over and grabbing you or whatever. You know, that doesn't actually happen. But, you know, it feels like it. If you don't keep things pruned and weeded, it sort of, you know, doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right. I'm not that devoted to having a, you know, spotless garden. I do have friends who spend all their time keeping their garden completely, amazingly, you know, manicured. I like to go for more of a rough edge, you know, just let it grow and make it not die. But one of the most important things I found, and one of the things that made my choice, was water. Water is very important in the country. And if you want to have a garden, you don't want to rely on town water, because town water is expensive. So you need a source, a spring, a bore, a massive shed with a tank. Because that's going to save you a lot of money in the long run. Think water. And why don't you have a great day? Thank you for watching that video. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Did you know I make one of these for almost every day? I know, I sometimes miss a day or two. I've got to have a break sometime, right? And sometimes I get busy doing other things. But anyway, let's ignore that. If you don't want to miss one of these episodes, then you have to subscribe. It's free, it's fun, and it's real. You just have to go to YouTube and you press subscribe, and you will be notified, if you like it or not, that another episode has been released. I try and let them go at 6:30 almost every day. So why don't you subscribe now? There's a link below in the description. Then you will have a great day.